We'll just keep talking about music.
Stuff all spring.
Do we have pitching for tomorrow?
Evo.
Anything beyond that?
You'll see. I'll be skipping tomorrow.
What's that?
We'll see the list tomorrow. Evo will be pitching tomorrow, though. Yep.
Is he completely? It's completely over, like lingering scar tissue or any things that he's still working on based on the stuff.
No, he's healthy, ready to go. He's the one that you have to, he definitely don't have to push that guy. He is wired differently, ultimate teammate, ultimate competitor. Getting him, a full season, through a full season, and is going to be that's what we're trying to get to, and a healthy full season, because if we have our guys healthy the whole year, we have a pretty good chance. So that's the focus.
230 for the starters their first time out?
I think everyone's different. Well, weather permitting and whatever it is, I don't like guys sitting too long in a cold weather or, whatever that looks like. So I think we're going to try to monitor. It looks like it's sunny and 60 right now, so we should be okay tomorrow. But, you never know. If it's anything like yesterday, then I think things change and finish up in the bullpen or whatever it is. I just don't like guys sitting too long in this, weather right now. I think it's going to warm up in a couple days.
Anything catch your eye from yesterday's indoor lives?
I thought the coaches did a really nice job of putting that together. It's kind of a fire drill, and then all the players got something out of it, which is not easy to do in a lab situation. Cold, rainy, adjusting, trying to get hot again. So yeah, there was some good outings by a number of different guys. And then the sides also, you had DeGrom's side and, Cal's side. And so there must have been 8 to 12 pitchers yesterday total with lives and sides. So there's a lot of good work, on turfs, on a turf mound with live hitters, with cameras and tunnels and chains and nets and stuff. So it was not the most ideal situation, but pretty impressive how they went about their business.
Is Cal do you want to see him multiple times before he goes off to the WBC? Will he pitch in multiple Cactus League games? Or
I can't confirm if he's going multiple. I think it's one right now, and I don't know if it's multiple. I'll have to look at that, if it's a backfield or on the field situation. But yeah, he's ready to go. I mean, he's in a really good spot. He's ready to go, a couple ups if needed. So he's been, a lot of these WBC guys, they learned from previous experiences, and I think they're ready to go a lot earlier than before, and so he's in a good spot.
How does, these first 10 days are all about, hey, with the stuff, everything's great. You get into games now, and you've got a handful of jobs, rules that you got to determine. How does the evaluation process change in your mind? What are you looking for now? Are you looking for results?
I'm looking for what they look like. If it's a pitcher, what they look like on the mound. What the results of like strikes and balls. Absolutely. As far as like where their stuff is at right now, it's not like the biggest concern for me at February 20th. But I do feel like, filling up the strike zone is probably what I'm looking at the most, controlling the run game, kind of stuff that you can control. As far as the actual pitch quality, I think as we move into, middle of spring training, I think that's what we'll be more concerned about, and like how do we get guys back to where they need to be, or what is going on type of deal. But the hitters wise, I'm looking for the same thing, controlling the strike zone. And then, seeing if what they're working on is translating into the game. There's a lot of guys that work on so many things this off season, and it wasn't the right thing. there's a number of examples throughout, not only here, but different places that they go to these, facilities or whatever, and it just didn't work, right? And then so you have to adjust. So I think until there's live pitching in front of, fans and an opponent out there, I think that's when you kind of find out where you're at and, the adjustments that you need to make.
If I know this is an inexact science, but if I ask you how many spots are open on this team, realistically, what's your best?
Oh gosh, man, that's high. I can't tell you that. I honestly don't know. I think there's position battles. I think there's starting position battles, and then what does that look like on the bench to properly construct a roster, because you want to have real options coming off the bench if it's a platoon situation, whatever it is. So I think whoever wins different starting positions, either everyday spots or platoon spots or just battles, I think is going to change how the bench is going to be constructed. And I think that's the same thing with the rotation. What's that look like? It's going to dictate what the bullpen looks like. So I hate to give you like this, vanilla answer, but that is the honest truth. Is I can't tell you how many positions, because different players could play different positions as well, and that could change what the bench looks like.
Yeah, that's in no way vanilla. That's a fine answer.
Oh.
I don't expect you to say there are 5 jobs open.
Thank you.
You're going to have to answer it your way, but that's a fine answer.
I appreciate the
Looking
feedback.
at the bench,
Go ahead.
when looking at the bench, how much does versatility play into that? Do you want does Cody Freeman need to be able to play the outfield and also 3 infield positions, or how much does that go into your decision making?
I think he needs to play it. You don't have to play every position well, but I think having versatility does matter. I also think, handedness matters depending on the at-bat quality versus who is on the mound, a righty or a lefty. I think trying to figure out what our right-handed lineup looks like, or our left-handed lineup looks like if we end up going that route. Who is going to be the right-handed complement to Jock. And I mean, there's a lot of different scenarios that we can, go over. And I think that's why it's so much fun. But yeah, versatility matters. It doesn't matter as much as it did back in National League days when you had to have a Descalzo or myself or whatever that can play different spots. But I do feel like there has to be at least one utility guy, and then everything else, kind of shakes out as far as what is our best offensive guy, and then speed complement potentially late in the game.
I mean, Josh Smith was the super utility, in years past. Who
Sure.
is your most versatile guy if it's not Josh Smith, if he's playing second?
Yeah, I mean, there's a Tyler Wade, there is Haggerty, there's Freeman. I mean, you can put Freeman in that on that list. Duran. I mean, so there are guys that can play all over the place and can also play the outfield. I mean, you'll see Tyler Wade in center field and second base. You'll see Freeman, Duran, same thing, outfield to infield. So I there's a number of guys that are in that position battle for that, so-called, last 2 spots. I don't really know how it's going to shake out as far as what we do here, but defense does matter to me, but I also we're trying to find off. It's hard to find offense in the league in general, right? Because the pitching is so good, and so I think there's no perfect player in the big. Well, there's a couple, but generally you're trying to find what complements the roster.
Do you have concerns about youthfulness and development, guys who are still developing, putting them on your bench when it might be the best thing for them to get at bat somewhere?
Typically a veteran guy is better pinch hitting, if that's what you're asking. I mean, it's just hard because a lot of minor leaguers have always started every single day and they haven't come off the bench to pinch hit. Usually the top prospects are playing every day, and those are the ones that get called up. So typically a veteran player is better as a high leverage bench situation, but that doesn't mean that's just it's all true. I mean, there's a lot of young hitters that are very good coming off the bench and getting 2 at bats and complementing a righty or a lefty if you have a platoon situation. So it's definitely not this is just the only way it's going to be of having a veteran off the bench. But I do feel like sometimes those guys, just because they know the league, they've seen the guy before, their heartbeat is slower. But I do feel like there's the other side of it is like, I mean, how do you know until you give them a chance? So you never know until they get a shot. So I think that's what the fine line is.
Well, like Durant, who's older, when he's had regular at bats in the big leagues, he's been good. But when he's only playing once or twice a week, then it's been a little more challenge.
Well, when you play once or twice a week, what does the other 5 days look like? So are you getting pinch hit at bats? Are you coming in and playing, or are you sitting for 5 days and then starting? That is a big difference. So and I don't know what that looks like. I haven't looked at exactly what it looks like if he's played, off 5 days, one pinch hit, off 5 days, and then play a game. But if you are, that's why it's important to get like one or two at bats every now and then get the start. I think then you'll probably be more productive in that kind of situation.
But I wade into this. Anyway, I look at Freeman, Duran, Helm, and the preface to all this was, I know your preference would be that Corey Seager plays shortstop every day.
That would be my preference, yes.
Okay, that's a given. But I look at your utility type guys, and all the guys you mentioned, versatility: Freeman, Duran, Hellman, Haggerty, Wade. Foskey's pretty limited to second base, I think, defensively.
He is. He can play first, and he is going to get reps in the outfield.
Okay.
Yeah.
He will get some reps in the outfield.
He will. He's going to have to. I mean, that's part of his, I think his career path is, he's an athlete, so he can play different positions. Again, it doesn't have to be Evan Carter, but he can get there to be at bat, a bats late against a lefty or whatever we need to do. Absolutely, he's part of the equation.
But where I was going with this particular question is, like, of that group, and I know I just looked this up, I know Wade's had 60 starts at shortstop over his time in the career in the big leagues. It appears that of that group, the only guy who's like a real fit at shortstop is Duran.
Hellman's going to get reps there this in spring as well. You'll see him start there, or come into the game late. So yeah, we're going to have to see it. Listen, I was a terrible second baseman, terrible. But I never took a ground ball until 2009 of my whole life. That was like my 4th year in the big leagues. Right. And it just takes work. The good news about that list is those guys will work at it to be adequate. And so that's all you're looking for. You're not looking for this Gold Glover, which would be great, but if they can just fill in the position, for an off day or a double switch, which doesn't really happen anymore, but you know what I'm saying? Like,
I know you'd love to make one.
I would love one, but I'm saying if there's a platoon matchup or whatever, and then you need to move some guys around, can they play that position for 2 innings a game? That's kind of what you're looking for.
But if you're playing it for 2 innings a game, in all likelihood, you're hoping to win that game. And shortstop would be a pretty important position for this time.
For sure, but again, like, you can move guys around for that, and then put the better defender there potentially if that happens.
I guess just from my perspective, it seems like Duran, as a utility guy, Duran has more proven versatility than other guys.
For sure, proven. I would say that. Yeah, that's fair. Wade's played, games there, and so I know what you're saying. Duran definitely has been the more reliable, I guess, or throughout his career so far, and I still think he's competing for second base as well. So we never know how this shakes out.
One thing you've mentioned, kind of backtrack here, as much as we've talked about you guys on the base paths, you've also mentioned for pitchers controlling the run game. And I don't know, because I haven't looked, were the Rangers not efficient in that last year? Is that something that needs improvement?
I think it got better for sure throughout the season. There's certain guys that needed to make adjustments throughout from the beginning of the year to the end. Holding guys at second and not taking third is on 100% always on the pitcher. It's never on the catcher, because you can stop their feet, and there's a number of different ways for them not to change up their looks, all of that stuff. That is much easier. The ones from first stealing second is the one that can be a catcher-pitcher combination, and just making sure that we're buttoned up and how we're loading up when we deliver the pitch. We're mixing up the times. We're using our picks to the best of our ability, and not going and using it 3 times every now and then. So I think there's different ways of getting better there. But we were, I think, I don't know where we were ranked, but I think we can always get better.
You have a soft spot for Sam Haggerty.
Why? Because I'm similar. I wish I was as fast as him. I think he's a really good player. I think obviously switch hitter I was not. I wish I was. He's better at second base than I was. I know that for sure. Better in center field. I know that for sure. So, I mean, he's a better player, but but I know what you're getting at. I think he's a really good teammate, and versatility. What you spoke about earlier on, like he is as versatile as you can get, and you can use him late in the game to run. You can feel good about him pinch hitting. You feel good about him spot starting. So I think there's a lot of value in Sam.
You feel good about him platoon starting based on his numbers against lefties, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's why the starting positions and the platoon and everything, the bench. I mean, we're trying to figure out like roster construction, the best roster construction, not just the best. It's not always the best. I don't know. Maybe it is the best players at times, but the construction of it, like how is it going to be difficult on the other side, is kind of the question I always have.
Right. So guys who are on the team, what do you look for them in spring training? Like Corey or Wyatt, what are you looking for from them?
I think if the most dangerous thing for any professional player, no matter where you're at, is you think that you've arrived. So I think you see the best players are always trying to evolve, and they're trying to figure out, Corey's situation. I think he's, what am I looking for? Come out healthy, ready to go. That's it. But I think he's, he's as motivated as anybody to, it's his team, and for him to take, that leadership position and take a hold of it. And I think for Wyatt, I mean, he's just got here. I mean, he's 2 years in. It feels like he's, been here a little bit, but who knows what this guy's going to become. I'm really excited to watch him throughout the next few years, not just the next few weeks, because I think this guy is going to be a really, really special player. So as far as what am I looking for out of him, again, I can't wait just to watch him play.
Well, they like compete against themselves, I guess. They don't really have. There's not a competition at shortstop, but Corey's just trying to compete against what he's done in the past. Is that fair to say about guys like him?
I still think he's trying to get better, though. That's my point. Is I don't think he's not comfortable where he's at. I think he's still trying to become something even greater than what he's been, which is crazy. I mean, he's obviously what he's done in the game is incredibly special. I think I said this a couple days ago or yesterday that some guys chase winning. Wyatt and Corey chase winning, I think, because you make a name for yourself in the postseason in the end, and Corey definitely does that. We got to get into the postseason, and I think that's always his goal, and I think that's the reason why a lot of those guys are so successful, because they chase the right things.
Last thing, are there any guys that you'll be holding back for a few days, or you'll get off to a slower start in games?
Yeah, Wyatt. I think is going to be like game 4-ish, around there. He's fine. I don't want anybody to think anything. He hit a home run the other day. We're good. And Brandon always starts later, Nimmo. So he's always, throughout his last few years, he's figured out a way to ramp up and feel really good at the start of the season. So he's probably going to be starting in March. I mean, late. So early March is probably when he'll start.
Okay. Yeah, and you mentioned that Wyatt just wanted an extra couple of days of swings to.
Yeah, he just felt.
Not that anything was wrong.
No. He felt really good last year. Unfortunately, it was because of an injury, but he felt really good that he had a little more time to just be here and work on stuff, and then enter games a little bit later and ramp it up to the season. Spring training is so long. I mean, I'll tell you guys that. But, I mean, I think a lot of guys are just trying to figure out how to get to the season in a really good spot.
And we know about Spores, we know about Teodo, we know about Church. Are there any other pitchers that will be purposefully held back for anything?
I think Martin will probably be slower as well. But as far as like, I don't think anybody's going to be pushed. DeGrom, like a little bit later, but that's kind of it.